Real quick, before we start, we just wanted to say that we are in the process of revamping the Patreon, and one of the current plans is to put the most of or the entirety of the current season on Patreon to watch. We will still continue to release things, or we still plan to release things weekly, an episode a week, but if you want to watch more, or hopefully the whole thing, if I can get it all edited, you can patron and head over there and watch it along with us.
Yay!
So...
I wanna do real bad things with you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching True Blood, Season 2, Episode 9.
I will rise up.
This is a phenomenal episode of television.
Yes.
And
agreed.
I thought that even before we got to the end, and I remembered that it was this episode.
It's so good.
There are so many things... I keep wanting to say pay off, and yes, but it's like plots are moving forward.
Moving forward
multiple
really well. We've come to the end of a plot. We come to the beginning of another plot. We're in the midst of a third plot. It's
Characters are properly tapped in. Hoyt is properly tapped in. Nan Flanagan is properly tapped in. Like, I was
gonna say, let's start with Hoyt because that has the least consequence, overall, which is he stands up to Maxine again.
We're going to do this. We're going to do this. What is your take on Maxine?
Okay. As a character, I love her. I love Maxine because she is hilarious and sort of horrible.
Beautifully played. Dale
Raoul. She's incredible. Love her to pieces. It's not that I think that Maxine is a villain. I think that she is an ignorant woman from the South who has an extremely inappropriate relationship with her son.
Not that part, but she says as much in this episode with actual pity in her voice.
Full of hate. I see you now.
Well, it's not my fault. It's the way I was raised up.
I don't know.
Okay, this is what the conversation.
Yeah, I would argue that she knows that that's a get out of jail free card.
But I think it's still honest. I think it's true. I think that she's like, this is how I was programmed to behave.
I agree, but I do also think that she uses that as a crutch in place of actually trying to learn and grow and become a better person. Because she could be an okay person, but Hoyt is right. She's just full of hate. She doesn't like anybody. She doesn't like Methodists.
I got my reasons.
Or Catholics.
Just priests and nuns.
And then
it's very funny, but it's also, it's true and it's good. And that's the thing is, it's like, for someone who is borderline comically villainous, I do think Dale finds a way to imbue this, like I said, this pitiful humanity.
There is a lot of pity, but I don't know. I think my favorite part is when Hoyt is like, black people, and she's like,
that's a secret.
I'm like,
it's too real.
It's way too real. And so he basically,
and I mean, I agree with you that I think she's throwing everything she's got at trying to keep him in this.
But he's pulling away, obviously. Also, we got confirmation in the previous episode, I think, that he is actually 28. So he is the same age as Jason. We just didn't know that.
I remembered him I was like, isn't he like 30? And you were like, no way.
I didn't recall that specifically. So he is as old as you thought he was. So he was like in Jason.
But he's also, he is still, because he has every right to read her for absolute filth, and he does, but he's still trying to do the right thing. He is still offering her opportunities to meet him halfway, because
he's like, I just want you to meet Jessica. And it doesn't go as bad as it could, I guess.
No,
but it doesn't go amazing, and Jessica's so nervous and she's trying so hard, and now that I think of it, he's way too old for her. She's immortal though, so I'm gonna let it slide.
She's immortal by 2 weeks.
I'm
fine with it, but that's what I meant, where I was sort of like,
once the immortal clock starts, it's sort of whatever for me. Once the immortality
not
begins.
Play that game. No, it's Louisiana, and I think emotionally they're probably pretty even keeled.
Well, that's the thing.
Probably.
That's the thing. Emotionally,
I don't think he's preying upon her.
No, definitely not.
And that sort of stuff, it, like you said, once you're dealing with fantasy, some of it just sort of, it's the issue we had when we were writing Fairy Tale, when we were trying to put hard ages on them.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, when I started writing this book in 2009,
yeah.
they were all like 19.
Yeah.
I was like, and now they're like 40.
There's a age range.
So it is difficult with fiction to put a specific number on things because it limits your storytelling abilities.
I agree.
But no, it truly is. Like I said, I do understand and find her to be a pretty despicable character. But having said that, I do find it interesting that she's not some low-level boss to be defeated and disposed of.
Right.
Like, she sort of stays part of the show for better and worse.
100%. And I think that I definitely think that is important because it makes a nice change of pace from the actual villains that we're working against every season, where it's just like every once in a while there's just this annoying fly that's like getting in our face, and it's Maxine Fortenberry. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of annoying flies, no. From there, I guess going back a little bit more chronologically, this fucking Eric plot with Sookie.
I'm obsessed. I love it.
I mean, it's amazing. Is it rape?
No.
I mean, well, he violates her.
Uh-oh.
Had to shield you.
Well, hurry up and heal yourself. What are you waiting for?
Silver. Suck it out.
Eric, I can't.
I...
Oh, son of a mother.
No.
Yes.
Well...
From one problematic conversation, like, I'm like, are we letting the fantasy of it all sort of brush over?
I think yes, because in my opinion, okay, here's the thing, because Bill, the butthurtitude on Bill, and it's, because the thing for me, where I'm coming at this logically from, like, looking at this from inside the universe of the show, logically, they should have just done it. They should have just, like, made an agreement, and she took a drop of his blood at some point consensually. Yeah, but the thing is Bill is such an all-consuming moron that never once is he like, this actually probably would benefit all of us. He's just over here about the, like, sullying of the nobility and the sullying of Sookie. And so...
Spoiled, yet satisfied.
Yeah, so Eric uses an instance to his advantage. Is it dicey?
I'm fine with it.
Yes.
Why? For me, it suits the tone of the show and all of the scenes and the action and all that. I'm fine with that. However, it is a violation because he now has access to her emotions, her whereabouts.
Okay, the whereabouts thing, but
and Anna,
Bill can do the same.
Anna, yes, but that was consensual.
I know, but they should have done it. Like, logically, they should have done it.
Again, I'm fine because Anna is in rare form this entire episode.
Oh, boy.
She nails everything, and she is so indignant.
Over the top indignant.
No! No! No!
You're connected. You'll be able to sense your emotions.
You big lying a-hole!
Bill, you're right. I believe I can sense her emotions.
But it's so, for me at least, I'm like, it's exactly right.
And the, like, blushing Victorian bride routine that Bill does where he's like, you might begin to have some sexual feelings.
It was like a parent. It was like a birds and the bees talk.
Don't be surprised if you feel some attraction to him. Sexual.
I was like,
Disgusting.
And then just because you even commented, we've talked about this a little bit, I think, in this coverage. I don't remember because I haven't rewatched any of it back.
Yeah.
We've commented on how fun it is watching people who are good at something have to be bad at it.
Oh my God.
Watching Alexander Skarsgård, a good actor, be a bad actor.
He's like, Sookie, I'm dying. Like, he may as well have drawn X's on his eyes and stuck his tongue out. It's hysterical.
And the way it's presented, she's going to town on that second bullet for what feels like minutes.
Just like sucking on his chest.
Because when Bill rounds the corner, she's just like hands and knees.
On all fours.
And Eric. It's so funny. It's so
stupid.
funny. I just sort of, it was one of those things where I'm like, I feel like that scene wouldn't play out that way today.
No, I sort of disagree because that sort of thing happens a decent amount on like the Vampire Diaries.
He's meant to be like,
he also is like
a scoundrel.
Don't get me started on the scoundrelness of it all. But he also, this is Bill's fault, if we're being honest. If we need to blame a man for this, we're blaming Bill, not Eric, because he has to do these things because Bill won't play ball. Mm-hmm. And like, Bill needs to play ball. It's ridiculous.
Her role, I love it, but her role in the vampire bureaucracy, like higher up, is so fascinating.
She just keeps getting invited to all these meetings.
She keeps getting like fucking. I was gonna make a joke about the hearing. Oh, but it's like who is this like high level intern that just keeps like making it way? Yeah. So anyway, she gets mad, performs anger at Eric. They go back to the hotels. That's all fine. Bill chases after one of the assailants and like drinks, but then it's like, tell him I spared you, when it was dumb. He should have taken his head off.
Just kill him. Just kill them.
So then Sookie can't sleep, so she goes to talk to Jason.
They have a pretty nice talk.
I think Jacob Clifton was like Stackhouse sibling sleepover,
or
God, like something.
It was really good, yeah.
And it does so much crucial work for
Jason.
them.
Jason especially.
Oh, Jason especially. I think I am ready to move on from him hitting her.
Sure.
And it's the sort of thing that it's like, this is not real life. This is not like a historical document.
Right.
And sometimes in art, at least for me, I'm like, if something feels particularly egregious, I just sort of dismiss it, especially if we don't come back to it.
Yeah. Which we don't.
That I recall.
Yeah.
They also managed to have a really good type of chemistry, because it does not come. I mean, there is a synergy, but there's not a charge.
Yeah. Well, and also I really like
I mean, he literally says my sex abilities to her.
Yeah. So stupid. I think that is the interesting part, where he's like, they made me feel like I was worth something, is what he says about the Fellowship of the Sun. And she's like, everybody in Bon Temps loves you. What are you talking about? And he was like, no, they like appreciate things about me, but like, you're the one that everybody like thinks is nice.
Well, but she also, it's so relatable, but she has this moment where it's like, if you would just be the version of you I know you're capable of being, this would be easier for all parties involved.
Yep.
And
agreed.
That is very good.
Because also, while they're having this talk, the news is on, and Steve and Sarah Newland are on the news, and they are bickering.
I forgot that they were completely unhinging. Do we see them really again?
Not for...
I mean, I know we do eventually.
Yeah, but not for a little while. I think they're mostly silent for a while.
That was something.
She just at the end is like, I hate your hair.
So then Sookie has the dream about Eric.
Finish your sentence.
What was I saying?
You were telling me why you'd be a terrible vampire, and I was disagreeing.
Well, I don't feel right without a tan. It's true, and I'd rather be alive than undead.
So good.
It is, okay, there's so many parallels, and it just is 100% the first time Spike has a dream about Buffy. It's 100% that. It's like you're going from the brooding, brown-haired asshole to the hot blonde who doesn't give a shit.
But the thing is, the conversation they're having
No, of course, it's very
is
good.
the next step. The conversations she has with Bill is that like high school first love, like poetry, like Taylor Swift's first 3 albums.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were reviewing Lover and we were like, this is a Taylor Swift that has had sex?
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't say that.
Yeah.
It's nothing about it is that crude.
Well,
but there's just there's a worldliness to it
It's
that
also
isn't in.
Taylor Swift that's had sex and isn't embarrassed about it anymore.
And so
Which is what the next iteration of Sookie is someone who like stops giggling when they talk about their sex life.
And so the conversation she's having with him is more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And it's filmed in such a way that, I mean, this is a show that has...
very intimate.
Yes. And this is a show that has plenty of fantasy and glamour shots and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's
just nice.
They're so smooth.
I used to think you had no sense of humor.
I used to think you were made of cold, hard stone and empty inside.
And now?
You're a big faker.
And especially the way that their skin tones are different. She even makes a comment about it being tan.
Yeah.
But he doesn't look dead the way that when it cuts back to Bill.
He looks deceased all the time. All the time. They put so much white pancake makeup on Stephen Moyer. It kind of upsets me sometimes. Okay, I think the reason that for me it's not a violation is because I would be begging for him. So.
That doesn't work.
I know.
You get in trouble saying things like that.
I have to divorce my personal feelings for Alexander Skarsgård from the conversation.
Even like the Marianne and Tara and Eggs plot kicks into gear again.
Oh my God,
After
yeah.
sort of treading water for 3 or 4 episodes. And of course things were happening, but
it was sort of like a fool me 6 times where it's like, how many times do you have to black out while not drinking anything or doing any drugs before you're like, something mystical is afoot?
well, and it's because as you said no less than 3 times, you were like, Marianne, your entire ass is hanging out.
Her whole ass.
And I remember being a little bit wowed by it the first time when I watched it and being like, oh, how interesting. And watching it the second time, I'm like,
You're a shyster.
Well, I'm like, she's speaking like she's saying something profound.
Oh, yeah, no, it's...
I will never understand that. Why be embarrassed about pleasure and laughter? Why be ashamed of letting go?
Because I've never been this out of control.
Control. Control is just a cage this stupid culture uses to block who we really are. We need to be out of control. We crave it.
But there's got to be some kind of control or things would be chaos.
Sounds good.
But she's not, because meanwhile, we're cutting back to their broken bodies.
Okay.
So she's like,
Yeah.
who's to say what's real? And a little bit of pleasure. And what if blacking out is ascending to a higher plane? And it's like, all of that is fine and good, hypothetical hokum. But again, they are injured.
Because she also...
That is the...
she says literally a couple of bumps and bruises is nothing compared to bliss or something like that. And I'm like, they beat each other bloody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not cool. And she somehow still manages to convince them.
Look at you. A few bumps and bruises. It's a small price to pay for bliss. Letty marry anyone?
You know, like they're still, she still keeps them under her thrall. It's bonkers. And
well, that's where the magic comes in.
of course. And Lafayette is rightfully like, what the fuck happened to your face?
Because I remember, I think we touched on this a little bit, I think in the previous recording, where I was like, I remember being a little bit thrown by Eggs, because by all accounts, he is also a victim. But I guess it quite literally is a cult metaphor, where it's like, well, sure, everyone in the cult is a victim of the cult, but still, he is the one pulling Tara into it.
Yeah.
So if you are Lafayette trying to save Tara,
Right.
then he becomes the enemy at a certain
Exactly.
point.
Yeah.
And
it's not even that I think like at his base self, Eggs is a bad
No,
guy. But
absolutely not.
But he's in this cult enough that he is, like you said, pulling Tara into it further and further and harder and harder.
And you have to put on your own mask before you put on.
Exactly.
And so it's like, I do find it fascinating. And Lafayette is such a fantastic character and how he handles, and that scene when they started fighting. And then I don't think it's scripted because it's like a sound effect. I don't know. When Eggs goes, he goes to hit Lafayette and hits Tara by accident instead.
Yeah.
And he may wind up killing you.
And it's just such a perfect encapsulation where it's like, I know you didn't mean to do it, but you still did.
He also makes a crack about Lafayette's eyelashes.
I gasped a little bit.
Unacceptable.
That shirt that lace tank that he was wearing with the denim, it was so good.
Lace and mesh and then like a denim vest over top.
So good.
Incredible.
And the same with Letty May. I remember my confliction is it's like, I just wish that one scene in
where
season
she
one
abandons Tara in
different.
jail. I agree.
Because, and I am viewing and relating to Tara differently.
I am too.
I'm feeling her anger more righteously in this moment than I was.
Yeah, I definitely think yes, but it is also fueled by Marianne's magic because even Tara at her angriest, I don't think would have like thrown the like hairspray and mouthwash and stuff at her in a public setting like that.
Miss Thornton, what's your drink?
Vodka, whiskey, hairspray, antifreeze.
Damn.
Like with two people who are not family at all. Like she might have done it in front of Lafayette, but not in front of the other two. So it's like Marianne is fueling that rage just to like try to get Letty May out the door.
But it's the kind of thing where it's like Letty May is absolutely, to piggyback off of what we're talking about with Maxine, it's like she's absolutely a pretty despicable character.
Yeah.
But I unfortunately do believe that she came there with Lafayette to try and save her daughter.
Yeah, 100%.
And it might have been her fault that her daughter's there to begin with, or through her, I don't know. Like I said, I'm remembering where I was fascinated and conflicted by.
Yeah, I agree.
Because she's not serving herself in any way by being there.
No.
So, I don't know. I find it interesting.
And Marianne tries to get her with the frozen vodka.
All yours. Look. The bottle's sweating. Icy cold. Thick. Pours like oil.
I'm a vodka drinker, so I cannot tell you what a normal part of my life Michelle Forbes's voice saying pours like oil is in my day-to-day life. That runs through my mind at a near constant.
Yeah.
No. God, there's still more.
So I was going to say just quickly, Sam is still in jail. So is everyone else. Bud is having a hard time keeping a lid on it. And everybody's like, you don't even have, there's not even any evidence.
Nobody remembers anything.
Yeah, and Jane Boathouse is like, I just lost my pants. That can't be illegal. Like, what are we doing? And Sam is like, you don't have any evidence that I did anything. You have to let me go. And so Marianne comes in and starts talking to Bud and then puts him to sleep with her magic and goes to find Sam. He's turned into a fly to escape.
Oh, I do like, because I think that they explain at some point that is particularly hard.
I think it's because it's so small.
And the flying.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I think the physics of it are equivalent to him having to go like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember how deeply they get into it, but the point is it does feel like a threshold being crossed.
Turning into a fly.
And escaping that way. Like he hung out there for a hot minute before he's like, I gotta get out of here.
Gotta go. So she lets everyone else go too, and once she realizes Sam's not there, she lets them all go. And
okay.
She's like,
I guess she needs them. Yeah.
And then she goes to Merlotte's and she's like, bring him to me. Yeah. And she turns everyone's eyes black. Arlene and Terry also realize neither one of them remembers what happened.
Terry Preston is such a gift because
she's fantastic.
I remember her being such a presence, and she's on this show.
Yeah,
but it's like little bits here and there, and Carrie Preston just imbues her with such like she's one of those fully formed from moment
well, like
one.
even she gets a phone call and it's her daughter Lisa, and she's like, Lisa, lunch is your responsibility. The microwave is right there. You have to do it. And Lisa's only maybe 10, so it's like it's a bummer if you follow the thought process. And then there's a pause, and she goes,
"Oh, come on. Kobe will eat cat food if you put mayo on it. Mama's got to work."
And you're just like,
relatable.
All right. I don't know. You're right about the fully formed, where it's just like, I would believe that Carrie Preston just
improvised that. And they're just her, and there's something about seeing these, adults.
Yeah.
I mean, these people, what, would push them 40?
Yeah.
Who are so childish, who are so shy and so kind of giddy, and it's very interesting.
I love it. Also, I think I mentioned before in season 1 that I love Todd Lowe because I first saw him on Gilmore Girls, and his character on that is like a cousin, like a dumber cousin to Terry. It's fun. He's
dumber. Interesting.
I guess dumb in a different. Terry's not dumb. I don't know. It's good.
Well, so yes, Sam finally only place he can turn, because he goes to so many different places and there's no help to be found, that he has to turn to Andy Belfour.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Incredible.
We love it. And the best part is, because said fly journey, he's naked.
He's nude. Yeah. Perfect.
So they did completely earn that,
Yeah, I always think of the whenever something like that comes full circle and it's so great, I think of that Lady Gaga thing where it's like, amazing, brilliant,
beautiful, spectacular, never been done before. So then, we back in Dallas, there is a vampire council where, like I said, Nan Flanagan, I think, is formally tapped in. We've seen her on TV screens.
Jessica Tuck.
She was my bitch. If you watched our season 1 coverage, we each had characters that we picked, and I was Nan Flanagan. She is so good in this scene, this introduction to a character. You know who she is.
Yeah.
She has the biggest dick in that room.
Oh my God, amazing.
Do you have any fucking idea of the PR mess you've made? And who has to fucking clean that shit up? Me. Not you. Me. I should drain every one of you bastards.
And there are a couple large penises in that room.
Like actual ones.
And
I will also say that I've known about her for a long time too, because she was on Judging Amy. This is the opposite character of her character on Judging Amy.
just seeing someone talk to Eric that way, seeing someone talk
like he's a little boy.
Uh-huh.
What are you saying? She's a bureaucrat. You don't have to take shit from her.
You want to lose your area, Viking?
Oh, you don't have that kind of power.
Hey, I'm on TV. Try me.
And because what we've gathered that Godric is a big deal, and the way that she's sort of
Godric is only a big deal to Eric,
but
he's just a sheriff and he's old. He's not actually a thing.
Alan does so much.
He really does. He really, really does. The other thing I was going to say is that Nan Flanagan does the opposite of Pam, where when she's being a vampire, she's wearing suburban clothes, and when she's just by herself, it's head to toe black leather.
She's great. She's one of the characters that, as I recall, they dropped the ball with. She sort of
Well, no, she's
in it.
In it, yeah, but they lose her character.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I mean. Because she ends up being in it more than I thought. It's one of those characters where you're like, oh man, I want more from this character, and they just won't do it. And they kind of do, but then it just sort of...
It's not satisfying like you want it to be.
No. And especially we're potentially probably going to keep watching seasons, at least for a while. But based on my 12-year memory, I don't recall that, this is such a high watermark. I don't recall that we get to this.
I think it takes a while for her to start going downhill.
I understand that, but I'm saying this episode really sets a precedent that I don't think the show really matches again.
That's fair.
And so the first time it was exciting because we were like, yeah, and this time I'm like, oh, this is the top of the bell curve. It's still fun. There's still plenty of stuff to talk about.
We haven't reached the pinnacle of the show yet because we have not yet heard Debbie Pelt say, "They killed my cooter." We're still waiting on that. So
we're done with this show. I'm pulling the plug right now.
Mid-episode.
So yeah, Godric is being, in spite of all the praise, and we mean that praise, but he is being an absolute, I can't even think of the word I want.
He's just
a drip. He's being such a fucking drip. Yeah. And you can just see everyone in the room sort of being like, oh no. And I love it because everyone's there in like black, Godric's there in white. And Sookie's there in red. And,
red and white. It's like a checked thing.
But I do just sort of love her and Bill, and Bill's kind of like... And basically, Eric sees the writing on the wall, and...
Godric is fired. And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And
Stan was killed.
Yeah.
You said it felt like a waste.
Just because I like that actor.
Yeah, I mean, it feels... So we're introduced to Stan and Isabel, and they feel like... characters of import.
Yeah.
And it's not that his absence is going to be deeply felt, but it feels weird to die off screen.
Sure.
In a way.
Yeah.
That also, for a show that picks up where they left off, this picks up without the remaining 2 minutes and 45 seconds of time bomb.
Yeah. Come on.
So
because instead of that, we have to watch Bill and Lorena break up again.
Yeah.
Ugh.
She was in Sookie's dream.
Weird. I don't get that at all. That was really weird.
Well, I do, because she's supposed to represent the like trouble in paradise.
Okay, that's fine. But for me, the reason I said I don't get it is because the reason she's dreaming about Eric is because of the blood. And so I guess then just Sookie's subconscious put Lorena in there. That's fine.
Because she's thinking of him as belonging to Lorena. So Lorena owns him. So I do mostly get it. I think it's just our tepidness on the character that's sort of like, this fucking bitch. Why
this again?
Yeah. It's filmed cool. I like her like cloaked in the darkness and all that, but Godric, Isabel survives.
Yeah.
I can't remember if she's in more.
I don't think so.
I don't know why I'm fond of her. Is it just that I think she's pretty?
She's super pretty, and she's pretty good.
I think it's her stoicness.
She was on Dexter, I guess.
Well, I was gonna say, it also feels fitting to have a Latina woman in Texas as like
no, this is her last episode, so she's not in it again. It feels weird.
Yeah, I don't like that. I feel like she should be in another vampire council seat. I guess we don't really go back to Texas, so we do
not go back to Texas. That's correct.
A reason, but I'll let it go. But I liked Isabel. Eric sees the writing on the wall. Bill takes this moment to put him in his place.
Look in my eye. You have to listen to me. There's nothing to say. There is. On the roof.
We have a score to settle.
Not now.
Yes, now. Have I made my point?
Dude, he punches him right in the face. Whatever. You know, it's the thing. Okay, let's go as dark as possible. This was like totally 100% nefarious from Eric. It's absolutely a violation. We'll go as deep as we can. It's already done.
I'm gonna cut you off. It's like this exact moment is why I'm Team Eric.
100%.
It's like you've just proven why. Like, this is why we don't like you.
Yeah.
It's because you did this.
Yeah.
It's like you're proving why you suck.
And also, it's like continues the sort of infantilization of Sookie. Like, she can't handle her own shit. Bill has to get all caveman and like hit
Which,
the
if
other
there's
guy.
one thing that we know,
she can handle her shit. Also, there's no fallout from it, so I guess Barry the Bellboy is fine. I think he...
Or dead. I don't remember.
But I think...
she sees him in... later.
Oh, yeah.
She sees him later.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I think that if he were dead, he would have been dead in their hotel room.
Yeah.
So when they got back, he would have just been there dead.
Remember the blonde one?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With the nipples and the necklace?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll see him, I think, in season 4, though.
Yeah.
So then Godric and Eric.
Well, first, Nan is like, you have to come to my suite and you have to sign some paperwork to like transfer over the like, and he just
This is one of the rare instances where bureaucracy makes it better.
Sure.
Like, I'm like, this is hilarious.
Because he also is just like, yes, I will take my punishment as you see fit. And she's like, it's just a couple of forms. Relax, it's fine. And so he like leaves the room, and then Bill hits Eric, and Eric like follows Godric, and they go up to the roof. And then Sookie tells Bill, I have to go find Godric. He saved my life. Like, it's a whole thing. And he is fully telling her, like, they can get fucked. Like, don't worry about them at all. And she's like, no.
She's like, no, she's like, I didn't ask. I was telling you.
I'm telling you
I wasn't
I'm
so much
going.
asking as I was politely telling you.
And he's like, I can come with you. And she's like, nope, it's too close to sunrise. Please go to the room. She's like, I don't want you anywhere near this. Rightfully so. So we cut back up to the roof. Oh my God. Eric and Godric are having this like really intense, beautiful conversation. Alexander Skarsgård is like a boy in this scene. He's like a child. He's 1,000 years old.
He's bargaining, yeah.
I will keep you alive by force. Even if you could, why would you be so cruel?
Godric gör inte.
Vi har haft århundraden av kärlek och tillit till varandra.
He's like, because he knows that Godric is going up
Father,
there to
brother, son.
meet the son.
And there's just something so intimate and like, if you watch our show, you know that I have a slight voyeuristic side. And so the Sookie's presence there.
I love it though, because it's important to me that someone else witnessed this side of Eric. Because we're pretty sure Pam must know this side of Eric, but I think that's it. And so Sookie, in addition to now having the dreams of Eric, she needs to see this because she needs to know that he's not villainous.
Yes, but she is, I cannot stress this enough, she is there for Godric.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, she does, Eric is part of it. And he did say that he was releasing her. We're not entirely sure how that works. The like blood.
Yeah, well, we both were like, I'm surprised that it doesn't ever wear off.
You would think that it would need like to be
continue.
Yeah.
Like it would last for like a couple of weeks or something.
But, and I suppose you could argue that this, she would be there. She would go with Godric regardless if Eric was there or not. So I was going to say, you could argue that she's doing it sort of as a favor to Eric. But
So I'm not saying that she's doing it for Eric. I'm just saying it's important that she sees it.
No, and that's why I'm saying, but I'm like, she's not there. Like when Eric's part is over, she doesn't go with him.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so she stays, and they have this very simple,
it's incredible,
but very profound conversation about life, God, humanity, you know, like, very few words.
Aren't you scared? And he's like, no. And
she was like, then I'll be scared, for you.
And he says, there's a human with me at the end and human tears. And he says, after 2,000 years, I can still be surprised. But this is incredible. This
is fully distilled why I actually love Sookie.
Yeah.
Is because, and there's an even more poetic reason for her being there that we haven't gotten to yet. But it's like to just be there with this person in a point of transition.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, there's also the element that it's like someone needs to witness.
Yeah.
You know,
witness me.
Well, kind of bear witness to this historic moment.
Also, meeting the son looks a lot more pleasant than getting staked.
It's because he was old. It's not that, as I recall, it's not that graceful. I think he's concentrated.
It's beautiful. He bursts into blue flames and then just sort of like drifts away on the wind.
yeah, it really is a phenomenal end to a very good episode.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, like, I have more that I want to say. And you know, we kind of pick on the show a little bit. And, you know, as we've mentioned in our opinion, the show sort of goes downhill.
Yeah.
But there's still so much good and interesting, and there's plenty to dissect.
I agree. Really good episode. I'm also, it's like a really good send-off for Godric, but I also do wish we could have had more time with
I
him.
do too, but so much of it, I'm glad you did say this. I am ending, but it's more than Godric. His... And that's why I think it's sort of like what I was saying about how their exchange, there's not a lot of words being said, but there's a lot being conveyed.
Yeah.
His character informs the world of the show in such necessary ways. I feel like if his character didn't exist, the show might not have had the steam to continue going the way that it was. Like if this was just Marianne, or if this was just sort of chaos or the church or whatever, I think that we needed this humanity. I think that we needed this glimpse at another way or this like hope or this like, and the fact that we did so much with an actor who's not doing a lot.
Yeah.
It allows us to imprint.
Sure.
Are you following me?
Yeah,
Is it psychobabble?
No, I get it for sure. I also...
It's almost like it's a cheat.
Sure.
Like it's
a cheat to get you emotionally further, because this also, it's scenes like this, and they are few and far between on this show, but it's scenes like this why it is allowed to be in the like prestige.
But it's like Godric is doing such crucial Eric work. He's doing crucial Sookie work, crucial Sookie Eric work, crucial Sookie Eric Bill work, crucial Nan Flanagan. Like it's like the existence of this one character in these 4 episodes expands the show in such a phenomenal way that I think any writers take note on how to manipulate your story to maximum efficiency.
100%.
So because it's the kind of thing that it's like, if he were still like, you're sad, we're both sad to see him go, but imagine if he stuck around and went to nothing the way a lot of other characters do.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I will rise up.
Bye.
Okay. We'll be back.